Hey Toolerinos, I've had a few trips to some local antique shops. So this first thing is this broken screwdriver-y type thing. I assume this is supposed to be some kind of 90-degree low profile screwdriver, but I'm not really sure. I do have a few handles, so I thought I'd put a new handle on it, make a project out of it. And I also got a new scraper. Now this one says Fletcher 250, and it's got a replaceable blade system here, and you loosen it by turning this knob on the back. So interesting, different kind of scraper. I got a neat little spring scale. It says Pocket Balance. Let's see if I can get that to show up. Pocket Balance, and down here it says Made in Germany. So kind of cool. I got an interesting pair of tongs, kitchen tongs. It says Vaughan, Chicago, patent applied for. And it's got like teeth. Kind of cool. I've got an interesting little pocket knife here, and it doesn't want to close. It pushes the spring out when I try to close it, and it does not have a maker on it. It has patent numbers, so I'll show you the patent. And it's got this weird hook action here, and I'm not sure what the deal is with it, so I'll take the scales off and take it apart and try to figure out what to do with it, see if I can fix it up. Next item is this really chunky drill. It's got like a carbide tip, so I'm assuming this is like a masonry drill, maybe a hammer drill or something. If anybody watching knows, please let me know in the comments. I got this nice big Jacob's Chuck key. I'm hoping this will fit my drill press out in the shop better, because the one I got on there right now isn't really the exact right size, so hopefully that's the right size. I got this old peeler. It says M&M Chicago, and it has patent numbers, so I'll show you the patent. And it's really worn out. Look how wide the groove is worn. It should be parallel, so this has had a life, that's for sure. Next item is a Indestro box end wrench, 1/2 inch 9/16. It's in a really good condition, no damage. The corners all look really nice and sharp, so I've picked up a few of these, so try to put together a little collection of those. Next item is a really nice feeler gauge. It says Made in USA, K-Star Incorporated, and all the feeler gauge pieces are in great shape. Even the little thin ones are undamaged, so that's kind of cool. Needs a cleanup. I got one of these Eiffel Flash plier wrenches, patent May 2nd, 1916. I know it has these removable, replaceable jaws. I only have the one that it came with, unfortunately. And there's a cutter here, so it's kind of like a multi-tool. Also because it's got the screwdriver tip on the end of the one handle. So I've been watching out for one of those, and that I thought was a good deal. That was $5. Next item is another folding rule. It's a Lufkin, but it says something here I didn't know what it meant. Can you guys read that? Doyle log scale. And it also had a neat little feature on this end, and then it has a little flip out hook to catch it against things to measure. So I looked it up, and the Doyle log scale is for calculating how many board feet of lumber you'll get from a log. So it has 5 scales, a 10, an 18 on this side, a 12, a 14, and a 16 on this side. And that has to do with how long the log is that you're measuring. So from 10 to 18 in 2-foot increments. And so what you do is you measure the narrowest end of the log. So if it has a taper, you measure the narrow end, not including the bark. And however many inches in diameter it is, say it's a 16-inch diameter log, and if it's the 10-foot length, it's the 90. So you'd get 90 board feet of lumber out of it. And the next scale, remember, is the 18 on the side, so you'd get 162 board feet of lumber out of it. So that's what this rule is for, estimating lumber from logs. So the other side is just all numbers for the 12, 14, and 16 scale. It's not the highest quality Lufkin I've ever seen, as far as it's got some bowing and warping, and even on the ends here you got some cupping going on, but it still works, still snaps. So could use a little cleanup, but it has definitely seen some use. I've kind of started a little collection of these bottle openers, and this one is kind of cool. It's Coca-Cola. Have a Coke, drink a Coca-Cola. So I don't have a Coke one, and that was a good find. Next up is this Diston Carlson Super Chief, it says. Tape measure case. There's no tape in it, so it's a project. It's missing a screw there. It says HK Porter Company Incorporated. On another tool haul, which I haven't filmed, was from last summer. I got a bunch of tapes, replacement tapes for Stanley tape measures, so I don't know if it's possible to put one in here, but we'll find out. Next item is a jar opener. It says AC Williams and Company, Ravenna, Ohio, patent pending. So another Ohio thing. I always like to find stuff from Ohio. Next item is a Vemco rule, Pasadena, California, and this is the kind that attaches to one of those parallel arms for use on a drafting table. I've got one of those parallel arms. I think it's still at work. I'll have to try to remember to bring it home and demonstrate it sometime. Next up is a Stanley 5/32. I'm assuming this is a nice stout pin punch. At least that's what I'm going to try to use it for. I really have a shortage of these sort of things, especially if I need to drive something out that's really rusted in place, so that was a good find for me. Next up is a really fun kind of tongs, spring-loaded, weird action. It's got like forks. I suppose you could use it for salad or cooking in the on the stove or something. I'm not sure what the name is. It says Handy Things, some town in Michigan, trademark registered USA. So can't quite make out the name. I'll have to figure that one out. Next up, I found a handy Andy ruler. Unfortunately, it's got some dents and damage on the side where you'd run a straight line on, but I think I can sand that down and clean it up. it'll still be usable. Next item is a Falcon Eye-Ease ruler. I showed one of these kinds of things in the past from stuff that my uncle had given me, and so here I found another one. It says Auburn, Michigan, no, Auburn, Maine, made in USA, and it's got the metal strip along the straight edge, so pretty cool. Next item is something I have wondered about in the past but never seen, and apparently they're not that uncommon, but I never went out hunting for one. I just happened upon one. It's dirty. It could use a good cleanup, which could be a future video. It's a Lufkin. It says machinist tools, tapes, and rules. It is a folding yardstick. So it's just 3 segments, so 2 joints, and it's 36 inches long. And on the back, it's divided into quarters, halves, and eighths of a yard, which is kind of interesting. Could use some love, but it's all there and readable. I think this will be much better if I can clean it. Alright, next item is an electric scissor. It says National Automatic Scissors on this side, and here it just says Japan right there. So I'll plug it in and do a quick demo. So it has 2 settings, low and high, and it moves so fast you can't even see it, right? It's got a little light there on the end. It's not very useful, but it's kind of cool. Let's see if I can do some cutting on this paper here. A little hard to do on a floppy piece of paper. It may be intended for cloth or something. But just the fact that you can cut around circles pretty well is kind of cool. So, kind of neat. I'm not sure what year that would be from. I kind of feel like that's from the 70s. Alright guys, I got one more thing to show you. Probably one of the cooler things. So Reggie has the Light of Truth, as he calls it. And I've been looking for one that, you know, was a good size or whatever, and they're just so expensive. I have not been able to pull the trigger on one of those, but look at this. I got a little Light of Truth. It's got the magnifying glass and a light built right underneath. Solid brass base, and this is all like cast iron, and it's adjustable, and it works. The cord's actually in okay shape. It just needs a little love right there. But yeah, I got my own Light of Truth. Huzzah! And that was only $10. I thought that was a steal.